So, looks like Trump is the presumptive GOP candidate. With everybody else finally out of the way, we can now start to focus on Trump versus Clinton. Although Clinton still hasn't won the nomination of her party yet, and I find it very telling that within the same amount of time that Donald Trump has been able to dispatch 16 opponents, Hillary can't get rid of one. Bernie's sticking to her like a bad case of herpes. He's just not going away. And he's not going to drop out. And apparently he's not really interested in any type of unity ticket. And I thought that Hillary was a presumptive candidate. I mean, when we started this whole thing, it was almost like we were going to crown her queen. It seemed like she couldn't lose. And there are people out there that are still saying that she's going to beat Donald Trump decisively. I don't see that. If she can't beat Bernie amongst her own constituents, how's she going to beat Donald Trump in a general election? She's weaker now than she's ever been in her political career. She is ripe for destruction. And I think that Trump is going to put her through a grinder this November. And it's going to be a real sad day for her. And a sad day for most liberal Democrats, because your bullshit is coming to an end. Trump is going to win, and he's going to win big. Just remember back to 1980 when Ronald Reagan ran against Jimmy Carter, and he had that defining moment when he said, "Are you really better off now than you were 4 years ago?" And at that moment, I think the whole country woke up and realized Ronald Reagan was going to win. That defining moment is coming upon us for Donald Trump. It's really becoming obvious that Hillary is not only beatable, her entire campaign is imploding. She's self-destructing. She can't beat Bernie, and she's going to have no clue whatsoever in how to deal with Donald Trump in a general election. He's going to throw shit at her that she's never dealt with. The playbooks that the Clintons have written over the past 20 some odd years for dispatching their political opponents, not going to work against Donald Trump. It's going to be completely ineffective. He's going to suck all the air out of the room, just like he did in the Republican primaries. She's not going to get a second to breathe. She's not going to get much airtime at all, because every news station is going to want to talk about Trump. And it's going to be like all Trump all the time. Did you ever notice that Donald Trump will go on to any news station? He'll go on Fox, he'll go on CNN, he'll go on MSNBC, he'll go on to stations that are most Republicans would consider enemy territory, and he holds his own. Have you ever seen Hillary Clinton do an interview with anybody on Fox? I mean, pick somebody. If you don't want to go on Hannity, fine, I understand, but do an interview with Megyn Kelly. Do an interview with Greta Van Susteren. She won't go on Fox because she only stays within her comfort zone. She wants to be treated with kid gloves, and she doesn't want anything thrown at her that trips her up, that causes her to be embarrassed, to cause her to not have an answer to a question, or in some way to be tripped up. That's not going to work against Donald Trump. He's going to really rock her world when the campaign begins after the conventions, if she gets the nomination. Because it's beginning to look like Bernie's going to deny her the nomination and force a contested convention at the DNC. And I know a lot of people in the Democrat world don't want that to happen, but it's looking like he might force it. And the real wild card isn't how she's going to do at the DNC. It's how she's going to do at the FBI. Because if they decide to indict, all bets are off. This whole thing might default to Bernie if Hillary gets indicted. And it would be incumbent upon the DNC to decide at that point if they want to pull some bullshit on Bernie and give the nomination to Joe Biden or somebody else. Because I think that they would rather do that. They really don't want Bernie Sanders to run. It's too bad. He's fought a hard campaign, And he's really, if he was able to smell blood in the water, he might have been able to beat her a little bit more decisively. But I think that come November, it's going to be over for Hillary Clinton. We on the GOP side have realized that we've had enough of the Bushes. We've had enough of them to last us a lifetime. Unfortunately, the Democrats haven't learned that we've had enough of the Clintons. And since they won't dispatch the Clintons, we're going to have to do it for them. We've had enough of the Clinton Foundation. We've had enough of them sucking in hundreds of millions of dollars from foreign countries, from enemy nations like Saudi Arabia. And they launder that money, and who knows what they do with it. They get paid millions of dollars to give speeches on Wall Street. And she thinks that she's got the right temperament and the right qualifications to be president of the United States? Give me a fucking break.